Welcome to What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Yellow Rose Canyon, your premier event space and campground nestled in the piney woods of East Texas. With cabins and RV sites available, Yellow Rose Canyon is perfect for your next event, no matter the size. A wedding, reunion, festival, you name it. Check it all out at yellowrosecanyon.com. Welcome to another episode of What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck, and today's episode, we have special guest, Dallas musician, commercial real estate broker, and podcaster, Ward Richmond. I have been on Ward's podcast called Trucking On a few times, and he is a big PMA guy. And I'm a big PMA guy. We get along really well. I've known Ward a long time. Local Dallas musician, been in a lot of bands, traveled the world playing music, and also has a business life and a lot of extracurricular activities. So stay tuned and listen to Ward Richmond. I also just want to pop out there that I've got other Dallas musicians lined up. So I always love talking about music. And I also love talking to people I know in the Dallas music scene. So Ward Richmond is another one of those. I've had Matt the Cat, I've had Red and Horton Heat, and I've got a few more lined up. So stay tuned for that. Also want to remind everybody to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Remind everybody that we have a subscriber contest. All subscribers to the YouTube channel are automatically entered to win cool shit in our subscriber contest. Plus, I'm about to answer a few questions from the Gmail. If you got a question for me, you can email any questions over to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. And if I answer your question on the show, we're going to send you some free shit. And we got a guy named Billy B here who's about to get some free shit. I'm going to answer his question. That's pretty much it. That's how it's going to work. And got a couple questions. Do the intro, and then we'll be right into Ward right here in the booth. So stay tuned for that. First off, Billy B says, "Hey, Oliver, big fan of your work, Ink Master, and now the podcast is taking it to another level. I could ask a ton of different questions. As I'm in recovery, 16 years, I love motorcycles. I've had one most of my adult life. Started getting tattooed at 18, but I'm way behind in how many I've gotten." Yeah, bud, you got to get tattooed while you're young. The older you get, the more it hurts. I've said that a million times. He says, "I've had several bad ones that needed cover-ups and found a good artist that I became friends with about 13 years ago. But they moved a couple of times, and now they are in Seattle. And I would love to get work done every month, but I can't afford that many trips. I'm in Tucson. Arizona, I'm assuming. I don't know many Tucsons. So my question is, how do you suggest that I find someone local while not offending my Seattle tattooer? As I still want to get work done by her when I can get up there, but I've gotten some shitty work when I didn't go to her in the past. Then I felt pretty stupid when I went to someone else. What advice would you give me, as I don't want to disrespect the good relationship? She hooks me up when I go up there, and she's my friend, Billy B." Well, I'll tell you, Billy B, there are great tattooers in every city. But the other side of that coin, there are mediocre tattooers in every city. There are subpar tattooers in every city. There are absolute terrible dog shit tattooers in every city. So the fact that you're getting these bad tattoos, you have no one to blame except yourself. That is called bad judgment. And the other thing is you got some cover-ups. You know, that just the fact that you're covering up shows me that you are unwilling to live with your mistakes. So this is maybe something on a personal level you need to like reevaluate yourself. I personally believe that you shouldn't cover up tattoos. You shouldn't laser off tattoos. Every single person should be stuck with the tattoos they got. You got the tats are for life. You got a bad one? There you go. That should be your penance. Just to live with that bad tattoo. And the longer you live with a bad tattoo, the more you'll have an endearment for that portion of your life where you maybe had bad judgment or just got a bad tattoo or whatever it is. I know a lot of people want to cover up their tattoos. I get it. I understand. Blah, 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 blah. I just don't. I just wish it wasn't possible. I just wish that everybody would just know for a fact that no matter what tattoo you got, you were going to have that tattoo till the end of your life. And just knowing that certainty at the beginning, at the onset of getting tattooed, people would probably have a little more reverence towards the idea of tattooing in general. But back to your question. It's hard to travel and get a lot of tattoos by some person. I don't think there's any disrespect in getting tattooed by other artists. Just pick good artists. You're in Tucson. I'm just going to give you a little heads up right off the bat. There's a town called Mesa, Arizona, which is not far from Tucson. It's way closer than Seattle, for sure. And there's a tattoo shop called Immaculate Tattoo, and they are incredible. They're not the only incredible tattoo shop in the area, but they are a very good example of an incredible tattooers that are in your same state. So give them a check them out. And as long as you're getting good tattoos and you're getting what you want, it's your body, your skin, your tattoo, your body, your choice kind of whole thing. So there's no disrespect in getting a tattoo from someone else once you already have tattoos from one artist. No artist holds claim over your whatever. A lot of people think that they should just get tattooed. I have a tattoo artist. I get all my tattoos from the same guy. No, I've been tattooed by over 300 actual, real, professional artists. And then I've been tattooed by hundreds of non-tattoo artists, mostly drunk people in the middle of the night. And I talked about this previously in another episode where I just have my drunk friend scribble on my arm. I do recommend that highly. Yeah, if you've never just gotten, a party tat from an amateur or non-tattooer, it's probably the best tattoo you can get. It's the most meaningful tattoo. It's it's not even an artistic thing at that point. It's just a bonding moment that lasts forever. These are some of my favorite tattoos. My drunken scribbles are some of my favorite tattoos. But like I said, I've been tattooed by real tattoo artists, and I love them all. And I don't think that I would have such a great tattoo experience in my life if I had only got tattooed by one or a few artists throughout the whole time. So expand your horizons, get tattooed by a bunch of people. It is very common for people to get tattoos while they're traveling, while they're on vacation, while they're overseas, while they're in a different state. It's a great little bookmark, great little memory piece, great little souvenir from the road. But when you're doing that, you could take the approach and, I'm here. I just want to get a tattoo. I don't really care about the quality of the tattoo. I just want a memory piece. And then you might end up with the shitty tattoo that you love, or you might end up with the shitty tattoo you're going to cover later. But you can also, no matter where you are, you can seek out the good tattooers, because there are, like I said, there are great tattooers in every single city. The more you're in tune with the tattoo community, the more you know what's going on, the more you'll be able to find the good tattoo shop in each city. I personally offer a service as the way, I guess I could say, to my tattoo clients, my customers, my friends that get tattooed by me. I encourage them that anytime they're anywhere in the world and they want to get a tattoo, they can just hit me up. They can send me a message. They can email me. They can text me. They can say, hey, I'm in Dublin, Ireland next week. I would love to get a tattoo. Do you have any recommendations for who to get tattooed by? And I say, oh, yes, in Dublin, Ireland. tell me the truth. You go to his shop. It is one of the coolest places in the world, or you're in San Francisco, or you're in Chicago, or you're in Florida, or you're wherever. And I would think that a lot of if you have a tattoo artist that is clued into what's going on in the tattoo world more than you are, feel free to ask them, hey man, if I go to Jacksonville, Florida, who should I get tattooed by? Or if I live so-and-so, I would say they should be happy to recommend you to a good tattooer, because they would rather you get a good tattoo to go next to their tattoo than you go off and get some scratcher bullshit. So I would say a couple times a month, people that I tattoo ask me. And I very frequently tell people while you're tattooing them, and we talk about all kinds of things. And I've almost always offer up that idea, like, hey, if you're going to go anywhere, if you want any suggestions, let me know. And it's very easy. I know a lot of tattooers in almost every part of the world. And if I don't, I know people that do. It doesn't take much to ask a few questions. I do a thing where I tour with Ben Nichols on a bike riders tour, and I travel across the country on a motorcycle and tattoo, and I go to tattoo shops in different cities. And almost always when I'm planning this trip through these cities, I'll line up a tattoo shop that I know, or I know someone who works in whatever city it is, Little Rock, Arkansas, per se. But every once in a while, there's a town that we're going to that I don't know anybody. And I'll message a few people that, hey, do you know anybody in Greenville, South Carolina? Hey, do you know anybody? And then usually my buddy Jimmy P knows everybody. So he's one of the first people I text. He says, oh, yeah, you got to go to this shop in this town. You got to go to this shop, because he travels with bands and he goes to tattoo shops in every city all over the country for the last 20 years. So like I said, Billy B, you should be able to get tattooed in Tucson, no problem. Or Phoenix, or Mesa, or whatever closest town you can go to. I honestly, who's in Tucson? Anthony Michaels, who was an actual Stink Master winner. Anthony Michaels is in Tucson. And he may be busy and booked up and hard to get in with, but I bet you he knows or works with people that are also good, because good people usually work with good people who work with good people who work with good people. So you're not far from getting a good tattoo anywhere you are. And Billy B, I think you got your answer and more. So thank you for submitting your question. Appreciate you. Next question. Who should it be? Ty Carter says, been a huge fan for a while. That's why I picked your question, Ty. That's why. Thank you. And I really appreciate you having this option for us all to write in our questions. I'm a filmmaker and have had the opportunity to shoot a few feature films and documentaries. I love to connect to a story and tell it. Well, congratulations, Ty. You're living a dream. You found something you love and you're doing it. Shooting feature films and documentaries is a lot of work. As a tattooer, how much do you feed off someone's story? Does that impact your drawings, conversations, etc.? Thanks, man. Ty. I'm a talker. I don't know if y'all figured that out yet or not. I delve into conversations. I'm a heavy conversationalist. People that get tattooed by me know this. Sometimes the first time I tattoo somebody, I'm always pretty talkative at the beginning when I meet them and I've drawn up their design. But once I start tattooing, like the first 20 minutes, I'm like getting the outline on there pretty good. And so I don't really talk a whole lot during the outline, and they start, hey, is it okay if we ask a question? I'm like, oh, yeah. As soon as the outline's done, I'm like, it's jabber time. But I do, I love to talk. I love to listen. I love to conversate. I love to learn about people. I love, and I don't really mind answering questions. Obviously, I'm answering questions. So I encourage that a lot in people, but I also love to hear people's story when I'm tattooing them. It is, I am a people person, and I've known a lot of tattooers that did not really flourish in this occupation as much because they're not that much a people person. Tattooing is not for the introverted. You know, it's like you were in close quarters with someone, hands on, sweating, bleeding, and on like in your personal space. If you're tattooing somebody, you are connected. You get a deep connection with these people, and I've become, you know, really close friends with people just by tattooing them. I have made a lot of friends in this industry, just other tattooers and my clients, and not even my clients, just people that come and get tattooed by other people that shop. I just, you know, it's a very incestuous deal. But I enjoy it, and I do talk to a lot of people. And, you know, if it's somebody's first time getting tattooed by me, I kind of just do whatever they, you know, we figure out what they want to get. We kind of go. But if somebody's going to continually get a lot of tattoos by me, I kind of learn what they're into. They kind of know what I'm good at. We kind of get a thing going, and I get a lot, you know, if they're getting a lot of tattoos, you know, definitely our interactions feed off that. Like, what do you want? What do you like? What are you into? What can I do? And I'm like, oh, well, sometimes we'll just be talking about what's happening in their life or what they're into or what they did in the past or what they did growing up or whatever. And I was like, oh man, well, I got a great idea that goes along with that. We can make a cool tattoo out of that. And, you know, a lot of times people have a very specific idea of what they want to get. And sometimes they just want to get a cool tattoo. And then sometimes you like feed into what they're into, whether it's punk rock or skateboarding or baseball or whatever. You know, you can feed off what somebody's into or feed off somebody's interactions in their life. And I would say on a long-term relationship with a client, you know, these conversations, these stories heavily impact the tattoos that they get and what I put into the tattoos and what ideas spawn different ideas or what ideas spawn different drawings and whatnot. That's the fun part of that's the fun part of the job, or one of the fun parts of the job for me, because that's, like I said, I'm a people person. I like to talk. I like to fucking whatever. And that's another thing I tell people. I was like, if your tattoo artist doesn't talk to you or you don't get along with them, then maybe that's not a good rapport. There are some young tattooers. I'm going off on a tangent here. There are some young tattooers that put in headphones and just listen to who knows what they're listening to, music or something else, and they don't pay attention to their client at all. I'm just going to put an essay on that right now. You know, I've had to make rules at a shop where I wouldn't let the artists wear headphones while they're tattooing. It's fucking rude. You know, this is not your time, not their time. It's our time. That's part of the experience. So, yes, the answer is yes. It does impact the drawings, the conversations, etc. And I feel like if I would have just said yes at the beginning of this answer to this question, it wouldn't really played out as well. But I did come to yes as a final answer. So, Ty, thank you for your question. That's right. Ty Carter, getting free shit. Next up, right here in the booth, Ward Richmond. Comment, like, subscribe, share, Spotify, YouTube, all the channels, all the things, do all the things. Thank you so much. And send me more questions. Email them over to Oliver. No. I almost said the wrong. If you want to get tattooed by me, you can email for a tattoo appointment at oliverpecker@gmail.com. So I'll throw that out there because I almost said it anyway. But if you want me to answer a question, you can email it over to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll get to them. Thank you, guys. What in the Duck Podcast is proud to be sponsored by Dream Machines of Texas. All of your used motorcycle wants and needs all in one place at dreammachinesoftexas.com. They have multiple locations, large inventory, and get new bikes in every week. Knowledgeable staff with great service financing and extended warranty options available. They also have a complete service garage, so every bike is gone through and brought up to speed before you hit the road. I've bought more than a few bikes from Dream Machines over the years, and I could not be more satisfied. I have also had friends from all over the country buy bikes because they couldn't find a better deal anywhere. You can buy a bike and have it shipped to you anywhere in the U.S. Why buy a brand new bike with that brand new high price when you can get a like new bike with that dream deal you've been looking for? Go to dreammachinesoftexas.com and get a bike and get your ass on the road. Welcome to another episode of What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Audra Peck, and today I'm here with my buddy Ward Richmond, who also has his own podcast called Truckin' On. Ward, first of all, thank you for being here. And I'd like to let everybody know that this episode is brought to you by quitting smoking and nicotine.
Quitting nicotine.
Ward, you're fresh off the teen, baby.
I'm not. I still not feeling normal.
You're not teened up right now.
I'm not feeling normal. I feel like I'm a little puffy. I'm not sleeping well. I've been eating like more sweets than usual.
You're not as puffy as you used to be.
That's true.
Used to be puffy.
I have a new level of puffiness now that bothers me than what it once did. I used to not be concerned with my puffiness. It was a goal.
Yeah. So you quit smoking, actually smoking cigarettes, how long ago?
I mean, I didn't really ever quit because I had one with Pedigo 2 months ago, but I got to the point where
Pedigo.
I could just go smoke a cigarette and be done with it, not smoke another one for 6 months. So I haven't really considered it a problem in a long time, in years, when I used to smoke regularly every day.
But at one point you smoked a lot and you said it's a problem. So you either tamed down or you whatever.
Yeah, I was always I smoked when I drank, right?
Were you one of those people that I'm just going to quit buying cigarettes, but still bum them from people?
Yeah, I did that. or I only smoke when I drink. And
Smokers hate those people.
Oh yeah.
Buy your own cigarettes.
And then I drank all the time. And so then that was when I was the biggest smoker, is when I was the highest
at your
level
puffiness
at the peak of my drinking.
Yeah.
Doing
puffy.
drugs, drugs are, make cigarettes taste really good.
Well, that's the thing. If you're trying to quit smoking, but you end up doing cocaine one night, you're like, what's the cigarette going to do? Let's let it roll. Let it roll.
I was just telling someone, I'm currently sober from all drugs, including nicotine. Caffeine I still use, I guess, but all other drugs and alcohol I'm sober from. And quitting this nicotine is a pain in the ass enough. But I think I'm smart enough, as long as I'm sober, to not do nicotine again. But if
nicotine sounds so funny.
But if I get drunk or something, or do a line of coke, nicotine. I mean, that's gonna be my first stop, is go buy a pack of smokes or go buy some nicotine pouches or whatever. But the pouches.
So here's my question. The nicotine pouches are hot right now.
They are.
Everyone is on the pouch. It's the cool thing to do. Smoking is not cool anymore. Vaping is cool, which vaping is not fucking cool. But the pouches and the vapes, everybody's on the pouches and the vapes.
So I've heard from health experts in biohacking world that I follow on the internet that vaping is worse than smoking cigarettes, by the way.
I mean, you could just look at a picture of someone vaping and know that it's worse. Look at it.
Yeah.
Because you could look at a picture of James Dean smoking a cigarette and you're like, oh, that looks pretty cool. You look at some kid with these big robot penis in their mouth.
I've done it all. So I've experienced it and I understand what's going on here. And this first there were cigarettes and smokeless tobacco, right? It's just like everything else. It's these cleaned up versions of the original thing that appear to be nice and clean and good for you. But the problem with these things is that they're so well hidden and disguised. Vaping, for instance, you can vape on an airplane. Believe me, I fucking did it.
Oh yeah.
You go to the bathroom.
You don't get caught.
Yeah, I didn't get caught. I just did it. I did it everywhere. I'd be at home with my kids vaping on the couch. They're like, Dad, what is that? I'm like, I don't know what it is. It smells like strawberry to me. Who fucking knows? But I'm not going to go smoke cigarettes constantly on my couch with my children at home. But vaping, I could do that. So it took me like 1 year of vaping probably or less where I felt the oil like shit in my lungs and it felt gross. And I realized I was just doing it all the time because you can get away with it everywhere. I don't even want to go smoke cigarettes now. Like if I'm at dinner with my friends or something, like I don't want to come reeking of cigarettes to the table. I'm like ashamed of that now for some reason. I used to not be fazed by it.
Because it's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. But it used to not be, like when I was in my 20s.
To you, it wasn't gross, but it's still gross to other people.
Right. It used to not be to me, but now it is to me. Like I definitely don't want to smell like smoke around my kids, whatever. So I did the vaping. That hurt my lungs. So I quit and I started doing these nicotine pouches because I actually started doing vaping because I thought it was healthy. Yeah. Because someone told me that or something. Like I thought, it's vapor. It's healthy. I don't know.
It's just water vapor.
I thought it was
It's not smoke, dude. It's fucking water vapor is what they always say.
Yeah, but it's oil.
Yeah. It's
like oil that goes into your lungs and it's you can feel it after you vape enough.
Well, the problem to me as a non-smoker, I was always a non-smoker, and I've always been someone who is an anti-smoker. I hated smoking. I hated being around smoking. And so when they passed a law that you couldn't smoke in a bar anymore, I was one of the people that's like, hey, I believe in freedom and people should be able to smoke if they want, but I'm happy that I'm standing in a bar and don't go home smelling like smoke. Yeah. So it was, but the vape thing, everybody's trying to quit smoking. My whole life, there's been hypnotists and this pill and these things and all these things you can do to help you quit smoking. And then they came up with this thing called the vape. And everybody quit smoking with the vape. But they just kept vaping. The whole idea was like, this will help you wean off cigarettes. And so you would have like the vape that had like an 80% and you would smoke that. And then after 2 weeks, you turn down to 60% and then you turn down to 40% and then you turn down to 20% and then you wean off the nicotine and you quit smoking. Now we have kids who never smoked that are now using a quit smoking device every day, which is insane to me. And this thing was invented to help people quit smoking, and now people that don't smoke are using it. How does that fucking make sense?
Dude, it is so addictive. It gives you so much more nicotine than you get from cigarettes because you don't smoke cigarettes constantly all day. That's what I'm saying.
People just breathe this thing nonstop.
You just you do it at your office. You do it. I would do it in conference rooms. Like you do it in the elevator. You do it everywhere.
It's a cigarette that never burns out.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to do it in places, but you just do it anyway. Like you're like, whatever. Are they going to say something to me for vaping? And like it's probably like a 50% chance if you're in a restaurant and you're vaping.
We don't let people vape in Elm Street Tattoo.
Yeah. But you know what? I did in the bathroom there all the time. And you didn't know it. I wouldn't do it in front of you, but I mean, I'd go to the bathroom and like go into a stall and like feeling so shameful by that.
But I think
I would take like 10 big hits off a vape and like, okay.
When you get to when you mention the shame part of it, I think it's going to be like those things when you see a picture of yourself in a past style you're in, where people make fun of how you used to have your hair or how you used to dress. There's going to be photos of you with this vape, and you're going to be ashamed that you're standing there with that vape.
Oh, yeah. I knew that. I didn't get any photos of me vaping the whole time I vaped.
Somebody's got a photo.
Maybe.
I think the other thing is now what I'm seeing now is people, you see so many photos of people holding their phone. Like, because they're holding your phone always. And so whenever you have your photo taken, you have your phone. So now I'm seeing people that, like, when it's time to take a photo of themselves, they're like, oh, wait, let me put my phone away. Because they've seen photos of themselves always holding their phone. So nobody wants a photo of them on the phone because it's become like a shame thing to be that guy who's always on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that mental thing is turning. And I think that vape is going that same way. People are like, because used to be people, I mean, for years, people just hold the vape in the hand nonstop. Now you see people like putting it away or holding their hand down or.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, so then I quit vaping and moved on to the nicotine pouches. And they're the same thing as the vaping, except, I mean, I was talking to my doctor about this too. Like, I try to be healthy, but I didn't want to totally quit nicotine. And you hear on these podcasts like Andrew Huberman or somebody like talking about
the benefits of
nicotine. And they're like, these things are fine. And I've heard so many health experts, and you think about it, like, the pouches, so you don't have tobacco in them. It's just synthetic nicotine. You put them in your lip.
But is it not even derived from tobacco? It's just some chemically derived version?
It's like chemical, it's synthetic nicotine.
So it's like
so it's
like a jelly bean that tastes like a PB&J sandwich. It's not a real PB&J sandwich, but it tastes like it.
Correct. And that's what I was
chemically
choosing.
Tastes like.
That's what I was using, was like synthetic nicotine pouches, and they were heavy duty too.
I don't think that could be healthy.
No,
it's all chemical.
I just
chemically
know
based
that I'm doing this, and they're very highly addictive also, because you can do them all the time. I think I told you before we started.
Even more than vaping, because you can just have it in and nobody will even know.
All the time. And I got so used to it. I would have one in from the time I woke up till the time I went to bed, unless I was working out or sleeping or eating.
You don't sleep with it?
No.
Have wild nicotine dreams?
No, but I would like wake up and like, oh shit, did I go to sleep with it in my mouth? And like, no, okay, good. Like, I would have like those moments, like falling asleep with a cigarette back in the day.
What is
like,
this
oh,
feeling?
no,
What is this feeling
down.
that the nicotine pouch is giving you? Is it like is it energy? Is it?
Yeah, it gives you like focus.
But it's like a mental energy, not like a physical energy.
You know how your coffee, you like coffee?
Oh, I'm drinking it right now.
Yeah, baby.
Let's shout out to Merit Coffee. This coffee is delicious.
You should try coffee with a nicotine pouch right when you wake up in the morning. It's just like,
woo!
And for a guy who used to love to party.
Yeah.
And I've quit all of that. Like, I've left it all fucking behind. I'm a good guy now.
I mean, you are a founder of the Party Police.
I am.
We'll talk about that too.
And anyway, I just like still didn't want to like give up everything, all the bad stuff, but I'd also like to be alive and healthy. So I felt like these nicotine pouches kind of get me this. I don't know what it is. I've always liked nicotine. It's always been a thing.
Well, you started smoking young.
Yeah, I started smoking in middle school. I would dip. I mean, I played football in Texas. Like, you're in the locker room, all the cool kids are like dipping skull and then smoking cigarettes on the weekends. And then I went to college. I played in a band all through my 20s, hanging out in bars when you could smoke in bars and doing that. So it was just always something I associated with being cool. And of course, it's fucking addictive. Like, you see it everywhere. Even when you buy the healthy nicotine pouches, it says in huge like writing on the side, like, these are extremely addictive. And they are like more addictive than any drug I've ever done. Harder to quit. And I'm on day 6 of not doing it.
I was just going to say, how many days has it been?
I'm 6 days, and it's way more difficult than quitting alcohol.
Ill. You felt physically ill.
Yeah. I felt like it's like my body forced me to sleep and take naps the first few days. Because if I was sleeping, then I wouldn't be thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I felt like sluggish and lethargic, but then I wouldn't sleep well at night. And the sweets, I normally try not to eat sweets really, but I knew that they would help. So I'm like, whatever, I'm giving myself a week where I'm eating sugar every day. And I'm feeling the effects of that now. So I got to fucking quit that on Wednesday. Then,
oh my God.
Then I'll be perfect.
Living a dream, baby. So when you were young,
I'll reach perfection.
When you were young, you were in a band, which I really liked a lot. The name of the band was Slick 57.
Yeah.
And you guys were like the hillbilly, rockabilly, kind of just garage band.
Yeah.
That just kind of just was wild. And you guys were young and liked to party and were, the kind of show where y'all were wasted by the end of the show and y'all were drinking and smoking and doing who knows what. And that was at a young age. When did y'all start that band?
When we were 18, 19.
Yeah. I mean, the songs are about drinking.
Yeah.
And fucking up. And
yeah, we didn't really drink in high school. John Pettigo and I went to high school together, and I mean, I got drunk a few times and in trouble with my parents and grounded, and I did not drink the rest of high school. But then we started a punk rock band in high school, and we played in Deep Ellum, but we were really into like Reverend Horton Heat and Lone Star Trio and bands like that, and wanted to start doing more rockabilly stuff. So we started that band when we were 18, Slick 57.
You know, it's all about drinking.
Yeah, and we started playing in Deep Ellum. At first it was about girls.
Yeah.
Like the first album was about girls. But then we started playing at 8 Airs every Tuesday night, and we'd play at Sons of Herman, and we'd go to these cool honky tonk places, and they would give us alcohol. And then it became like, whoa, bar of soap.
Oh, yeah.
And we were 18 years old, hanging out in bars with all of these like local music people. And
bar soap's out of business, so you can't get them in trouble for serving underage minors anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, we would just go to all of these places and they would serve us alcohol because they all thought we were 21, and we became obsessed with it. And then of course you got paid. If you at 8 Airs, you got paid 20% of the bar back then, at least.
So you want people to drink.
So yeah, you want people to drink. And then we're just in college and started drinking. And I mean, I loved it. I didn't realize it at the time, but it was most definitely like an instinctual way to deal with social anxiety. And it just made me feel comfortable in my skin. I think I just felt really cool and confident and funny, and it worked. And it just kind of like, hey, we're drinking, we're writing songs, our shows have more people coming to them. I have lots of friends.
Things are great.
There are girls coming around. Like, what is the downside here?
Future's so bright.
there was very little downside at that stage of life. We had an album. Our second album was called Drunk Life.
I know. Drunk Life.
That's when we really got into it. That was 1999.
I lived the drunk life. It's the life for me. It's like
I was 21.
That
when
song
that
is
came out.
almost like an 80s sitcom theme song, like a Gilligan's Island, like, you know, I live the drunk life, you know, it's like.
Yeah. I wrote that song.
It's a great song. People loved it. And everybody in the crowd was holding up their beers. And
we had lyrics in that song. I like the drunk life. It's life for me. If you like the drunk life, or when you live the drunk life, your shit looks like iced tea.
There you go.
I mean, it was so like, I thought it was so awesome. Like I did not know people who like intentionally got sober or went to AA or did any of that. Like mental health was not on my radar. I did not think of it as a problem. I thought of it as a superpower.
But at some point, life caught up with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've made some drastic transformations.
Much later down the road.
Yeah. You went from maximum puffiness, drunken drugginess to, at one point, you just went full athlete. I mean, I guess you had a past of athleticism from high school and college playing football or whatever.
Right.
But then you just went full athlete and got in shape, quit drinking, you did the Ironman.
I did 3 Ironmans.
3 fucking Ironmans, which is not your average person that goes to the gym can pull off an Ironman.
No.
There's like, how long did you train to do the first Ironman?
I started with a marathon because I toured.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I toured till I was 27. And we were just on the road, 200 shows a year and doing no exercising. And then I got a job.
One would say there's a lot of,
well, yeah,
you're doing a lot of.
I'm lugging around an upright bass and playing shows every night.
And you're jumping around for an hour on
for
stage
sure,
and getting a lot of cardio and drinking a lot of beer
and smoking a lot of cigarettes. Yeah. I feel like let's just say it canceled each other out, like the partying and the exercise from being on stage. So it was kind of like net zero effect on me. But then I got a job in commercial real estate, and this was 20 years ago. And,
well, before we can't just like.
But my boss,
yeah,
at the commercial real estate job is like, you like need to get your life shit together. Yeah, he's like, train for a marathon. I just did one. So that's how I got into it.
We got to slow down for a second, because you can't just go from being a wasted touring fucking maniac to just get a job in commercial real estate. How'd you get that? how did that door open?
So
Because
family,
nobody else is just walking up. Oh, hey, I got this job. What do you get? Oh, commercial real estate.
it's family business.
Okay.
So my dad did that. And because of that, when I was in college, I interned at commercial real estate companies.
All right.
He's just a one-man shop, so he didn't ever have a company. I never worked with him. But he was like, this is a good profession. So that's how. And then when I kept my I got a real estate license. I worked for 2 years out of college until we got a record deal for Slick 57. And then I quit and we went on the road for 4 years. But I kept my real estate license alive. And I had a buddy that I knew from growing up and he was doing it. So I called him and he got me my job to get back in after being on tour, which is really weird. It all happened in my 20s, like going into it and getting out of it and going back into it. But yeah, I was kind of hiding my identities in both realms from one another.
Yeah.
I probably did it for 5 years before I told you I'm doing commercial real estate. Like I just didn't talk about it. And I didn't talk that I was in a band
to those people,
to the commercial real estate people.
Yeah.
And I just kept these two worlds separate. And I dealt with a lot of shame over the years. But I felt like this weird, like it's stupid looking back on it now because I'm a dad. I don't care anymore. I'm 46 years old, but back then I like cared so much what people thought about me.
Yeah.
And I was scared, like in commercial real estate, what if they see my tattoos? What if they fire me? Or like, what if my artist friends don't take me seriously because I wear a suit to work and do this? And it's so silly now looking back on it, but I dealt with a lot of that and alcohol helped. I'll tell you that. So,
and the one thing that exists in both those worlds is drugs and alcohol.
For sure.
Drugs and alcohol.
That's such a good point, man.
Yeah, because you could do that in both worlds. That's your crossover. That was your mainstay. That was the thing that made you feel comfortable at both times.
Can you do it in every world? Drugs and alcohol?
I mean, lawyers do drugs and alcohol. So. Doctors do drugs and alcohol.
I think everything, it can be a connector. Yeah. And
I mean, the lawyers I know do the most drugs.
Yeah. There's a book on it I read. Mark Cuban's brother wrote a book on it called like The Addicted Lawyer or something.
I mean, Mark Cuban did drugs.
I'm sure.
I don't know if he still does drugs or not, but he did.
For sure. I mean, I say for sure. I don't know. For sure. I didn't do them.
We're speculating that Mark Cuban has
his
done
brother
drugs.
Did. His brother wrote a book
about doing drugs.
Yeah. So I quit touring thinking this is going to kill me. But if I get a corporate job, that will be better for me. And to a degree, that was true. But I still kept partying.
Yeah.
On the weekends, not necessarily every night of the week, but it just became different.
That's the one difference is that the rock and roll party life is 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And the corporate world is Saturday night.
Yeah, you might go like Thursday through Sunday nights.
But a lot of those people that are in the real world and they're serious about their job, serious about like lawyers. Lawyers are addicted to being what they are. And so it's like they take that seriously enough that like, oh, Saturday night we're going to do a bunch of fucking blow. But then Monday morning I got a fucking job. I got a thing. You know what I mean? They get back to it.
Well, some do and some don't, right?
And then they spiral out of control.
And then you get to a point. Well, this happened with me. It was always like balancing acts, right? Like my life never totally self-destructed to the point where I like hit like a total rock bottom. I guess
your marriage suffered.
I hit my own rock bottom in many ways, but I still had a job. I was still making money. I was still performing, but I was like slowly but surely killing myself. And yeah, my marriage totally suffered. But I was drinking at lunch. I would go to the office and I'd wake up early, work until 11 a.m. and then go to lunch and start drinking. And then I would be home by 5.
I mean, you watch Mad Men?
Oh, dude.
Living the dream.
That is like, I mean, I feel like that's what life I was living.
Yeah.
To a degree. and you could get away with it too. Like if you're
as long as you're producing,
if you're good at your job and you're good at sales and you
let it keep doing what you're doing. As long as you're making money.
I hired really good teammates who were super dependable, and they would do a lot of the stuff that required the grind and just like constantly paying attention. And it's funny, because of my drinking, like I created like a super efficient way to work so that I could be drunk all the time and still perform at a high level. So when I quit drinking, when I was 37 years old, it's like, whoa, I've got a lot of free time and I had a great business and a good team built. Like, okay, this is kind of cool. But I've almost like trained myself how to work in a very, I'm impressed by my drunken self for coming up with this system. Like, good job. So that I could, but it was also because I was such an addict that I wanted to get fucked up all the time, but I also didn't want to get caught.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out, how do I pay for the bills and get fucked up all the time? And I created a nice little system of efficiency in the workplace.
So what you said a minute ago is you got this guy that you got the job from. He kind of gave you like, hey, it's time to get your shit together.
Yeah. He was just like trained for a marathon.
And that's his idea, was like, hey, dedicate yourself to something like that's intense and hard to do and takes a lot of effort and takes a lot of time and takes a lot of dedication. Obviously, most average people can't just go, oh, I'm going to run a marathon and go run a marathon. It takes, you have to build up to that.
Yeah. So this conversation.
And you said, sure, I'll train for a marathon. Why not?
Yeah. Like, we probably discussed this in March, and I did the marathon in December. And I signed up for a training program. Like, you just Google it, and went to Luke's Locker, and started doing a running program. But what I found is the endurance sports created a high for me, right?
Yeah.
Like endorphins and dopamine.
People get addicted to running.
Yeah. So I would go hard on training, and then I would ease up on my drinking when I was training for a race. And I wouldn't like totally quit necessarily, but I would cut way back because I was doing these 10-mile runs on Saturday mornings. I couldn't go out on Friday night if I was going to do that. And I wanted to stick to the goal. Looking back, I was always good at like, I'm going to stick to my goal and do what I say I'm going to do. So I've got to adjust accordingly to pull it off. But then it began like years of training, and it built from marathon to doing 3 Ironmans, where I would like not drink for a year and do 2 Ironmans and then start drinking again. And
that
would be fucking crazy.
You told me that you were training for an Ironman, and I was like, I knew what Ironman was, and I was like, what? Are you fucking crazy? But you literally became a different person. Like, you went from this guy to this guy, like, in that course of that, however long that year was or whatever. How many people what percentage of people do you think like initially say, hey, I want to run a marathon? What percentage of those people do you think actually complete a marathon?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I would say not a high percentage.
I would say a low percentage.
Low percentage.
Because there's even a lot of people that would want to do a marathon, but once they start training, not everybody's body is capable. Like, it's not everybody. Somebody's knee is going to blow out and they're not going to be able to make it. Somebody's ankle is going to give way. Somebody's going to just not have even if you train and build up cardio, not every person's body can withstand that.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people fail out for one reason or the other.
Yeah. Low likelihood.
And in an Ironman,
very low likelihood.
Insane. How many, just for reference, you see like a big marathon that happens in a major city, thousands of people enter.
Still, Ironman's you'd be surprised.
But how many people complete it?
I would think 1,000.
But most people that enter complete, or most people that enter don't complete?
Most people that enter, I think, complete.
Okay.
I think by the time you get there and get to the race, like, you figured out. Now, people that sign up versus finish, like, that's probably something else.
Oh, yeah. People that sign up 6 months ahead of time. Yeah. How many people show up at the door?
Yeah. And then when you get to the point of getting there, like, the first thing you do is swim in a lake with 1,000 people for 2.5 miles.
So those of you who don't know what an Ironman is, it's a 3-legged race. Well, 3 portions: swim, bicycle, and run. And you swim how far?
You swim 2.4 miles.
Which is far.
Pretty far.
Far to swim.
You bike 112 miles.
112 miles on a bicycle.
And then you run a
all
marathon,
uphill.
26.2 miles.
And then you run, and this is the same day.
Yeah.
One straight. How do you, between each segment, do you go poop? Do you eat some food? Do you
can
sit down for a minute? What do you do?
You can do any of that. And it just depends on how fast you want to finish.
Yeah.
So some people
poop
will pee while they're riding their bike
and
on
just
themselves.
let it go.
Yeah. And just like
Dumb and Dumber style, dude. Just let it
I would
go.
not do that. Like I would get off I didn't want to like smell my piss. Like while I was like, I've had to think I'm going to have to.
But you've definitely seen
What's
pictures
more
of people
important? Like I'm not trying to win the race.
You've definitely seen people Tour de France like shit the pants while they're riding.
Oh,
they just
yeah.
keep going, just like roll with it.
Yeah, and I mean,
you don't want to be that guy.
Just training for an Ironman, like you're gonna go shit in the woods, you know.
Yeah.
Like you are gonna have to because you're gonna be stuck out there. And
they should put that on the highlights.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and you'll watch people shit their pants while you're like on the run, like that just out of nowhere.
It just goes.
You're like, oh man, and puking, just all kinds of things.
A lot of people puke in a marathon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah, the whole it's kind of it's really cool. Like the getting into the race, it's like its own little weird ecosystem, and you just will be doing like loops on a course normally, and you'll like see similar people.
What if
or like that girl's kind of hot with like
now she shit her
number
pants.
77. Yeah, yeah.
What if swimming was the last leg? People would drown.
They would drown. That's why they do it like in the order of danger of what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you are to like that you need the most energy for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you fall off a bike, that's worse than falling when you run. If you're running,
yeah,
like, you're going to be okay. Although people die. I mean,
you did 3 of these things.
I did 3 of them.
And between each one, you kind of like came down out of that peak athletic mode and went and drank a little bit or let loose and then had to retrain to get back into that.
The first one I like relapsed really hard.
Well, you're like, hey, I completed this goal. I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm going to party.
And I partied so hard.
Partied so hard.
So on the day of my first Ironman, I signed up immediately. I'm coming back next year. I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
The day after that, I started partying, and I did not stop partying for 9 months.
And you're like, shit, I got to train.
Yeah. It was like June, and
so
the race was in
months?
August, and I quit drinking on July 7th, 2012, I remember, and did not start training until July 7th for like an August 26th race. But then the second one, I didn't really train for, right? I trained for like a month and a half and did better than the first time though, surprisingly. But then I did not stop.
But having
drinking, like I did not start drinking again after the second one, and I just powered through. So then went and did the next one within like 10 months. And for that one, that's when you're talking like I looked like a different person because I had quit drinking for a full year. And I trained
fit
like a beast. Like I hit every workout.
You had no puffiness.
No, I was real fit. So those were good times. But then the third, because of that, then I smashed my goal time. Like I wanted to do it in 13 hours. I did it in 12 and a half hours. Felt like a champion.
What percentage is that?
I don't know.
Top 10% or not? Top 50%?
No, it was just like a realistic goal for me being like 6'4", 240-pound dude.
But some people take considerably longer than that.
You can take, I think, 17 and a half hours is the cutoff.
Yeah.
So it can't be, or maybe it's 17, something like that. So it can't be more than that. But then there are like pros do like 9 or 850 or something. So they're crush it. But 12 and a half for me, I shocked myself with that. And I'd also like qualified for the nationals in the Olympic triathlon that year and did all of these. I was all into it. But then after I like smashed my goal in the Ironman, it was my third one. Like this is, and in my mind, like, this is not an embarrassing time, because my first 2 times, like, these are too embarrassing of times for me to, like,
just completing it is amazing.
Yeah, but then you do it, and then
Yeah.
you're like, I was too slow. I would need to do better. And then anyway, the third one, like, okay, I can retire from the sport now.
You're probably a larger frame man than most people that do this.
That's true. They have a division for a lot of races that are called Clydesdale.
The big bucks.
Like 200 pounds plus.
Yeah. The big bucks.
Which, by the way, like, if I weighed 205 pounds, I would be like 0% body fat. Like, so 200 pounds is already kind of like small, but 200 plus. But if I did that, I would almost win every race if they had the Clydesdale category. No one that's larger. Like, I could beat most large people in a race. But when you're small, like your size,
zip,
it's really good to be small when you're on a bike, because you don't weigh that much. Yeah.
And swimming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
length is good for swimming, but
swimming and running.
Yeah.
But the weight on, like, to be small and weigh a little, the less you weigh on a bike.
Swimmers are skinny, dude.
They are
lean.
But anyway, that was a journey, and I haven't done one since May of 2013. And after that last one, then I fell off the wagon again, and that led me to rehab. Like, that was 2.5 years off the wagon. And that was like the worst relapse, was after that Ironman, to where I was just drinking every day. And my daughter was born during that time, and just like, I've got to quit. I don't want to. My daughter was 1.5 years old when I went to rehab, and like, I don't want to.
You don't want her to remember you being a fuck up.
Yeah, I don't want to be. It's not. It became very clear, like, this is not cool anymore.
Like a 6-month-old, she don't know shit.
Right.
You hear? She don't know your.
She started speaking at 1.5 years.
And you're
right?
like, man, I'm a loser.
Yeah. I just, like, do I want to be this dad, this version of a dad, or another version of a dad? And it was like, I've got to quit.
So you went in-house treatment.
I went to rehab at a place called InterHealth for 3 weeks, and a friend of mine had gone, and he told me about it, and I was just like, whatever. Like, this is like fixing this machine that I don't know how to fix. So I just was like, all the help I can get. I'd tried quitting cold turkey before, and that didn't work. Like, I could quit for a year, fine, but then these relapses would happen. So I wanted to go, and it was really helpful because they explained to me how your brain works, and like how dopamine works, and how you create this memory of your brain, and like how this reward system. So I like trained it to reward me for drinking alcohol, so that my mouth would water when I walked to a patio bar and saw alcohol. Oh my gosh. And I'd be like, yeah, and I want cigarettes, and I want shots, and I want cocaine, and I want all these things. And then once you realize, oh, this is just like a science project. A really fucked up science project that I should have won a blue ribbon for playing, worked just like clockwork. It can also be reconstructed.
But you learned some lessons in there to how now you're quitting nicotine. You learned the lessons of, it's the same process of your body and your mind working together to understand and deal with something.
Yeah. And it's just like, you can retrain your brain to be repulsed by these things.
Yeah.
And that's how I've become now. There's still moments, of course, where I can think back to it, but for the most part, like, I don't like the idea of alcohol. I don't
want to be drunk.
I don't like to be around people who are like slurring and acting drunk around me. Yeah. And used to be like,
you know that that's not authentic. You know that they're not being real. You know that they're not telling you what they really think. You know they're not telling you, they're not being honest. Because when you're drunk, you're just and I love you, man. Do you really? You know what I mean? That kind of just drunk shit. You know that it's not real.
It's not real. And yeah, I don't, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Is this appreciation for the realness of yourself first. which took me probably the longest to understand that. But once I finally, after years of not drinking, like kind of came to that self-discovery of like, oh, I'm okay with me now, then I could be actually real and comfortable in my skin. Then I think then it sets in your appreciation for the realness of others.
Yeah.
And you can almost just see it like so soon. And it's not, if they're not real, I don't like not like them or anything, but it's like I have compassion for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I've fucking been there and that sucks. But I also don't want to be around it.
Well, I've been sober a long time, and I've had a lot of friends that drink, and I've been around a lot of bars and parties and shows, and there's a lot of stuff. And I don't mind being at a party when people are drunk. But I just, sometimes people will be talking to you, and you just don't take them that seriously when they're wasted. And sometimes they'll be like, oh, you don't, and I'm just like, hey, look, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just like, I'm going to take everything that happens from a drunk person with a grain of salt, which for me has worked out because other people have been in the same situation and they all get mad at what somebody says or take offense to what somebody says. And I'm like, they're like, how come you're not mad? I'm like, because they're wasted.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it seriously. Like tomorrow they're going to sober up and say, I'm sorry, and that's what always happens. And so just like, dude, just let it go. Let's let it slide now. Just, whatever. But on the point of just your mind wanting or being trained into liking something or needing something or desiring something, I can feel tired and low energy. And I'll be like, man, I need to get a coffee, or I want to get an energy drink, or I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And your body feels slow and your mind feels unmotivated. I get in line at the coffee shop. Before I even get my coffee, I'm like, zing, alert, because your mind knows it's coming. Like before you take the energy, when you open the energy drink, before we even taste it, you're already, like you're talking about your mouth watering when you walk up to a bar. You're already like, I'm ready to go, and you haven't even drank it yet. So once you realize that a lot of it's in your mind, I still drink the caffeine.
Right.
But
my daughter has type 1 diabetes. Are you familiar?
Yes.
So you're
I know there's more types.
Type 1 is really just simple. It's like your pancreas stops producing insulin.
But are you insulin dependent?
Yeah. So
Dean Williams.
She has to have insulin injections. So she has an insulin pump. But basically, your pancreas produces insulin, which breaks down carbohydrates, which is all sugars that you consume, into like blood sugar so that your system works and runs clean. So if you have type 1 diabetes, that doesn't work. I've worn these devices that she has, like a CGM, a constant glucose monitor, I think is what they're called, Dexcom. And you can see like my blood sugar levels are real smooth because my pancreas is healthy. And hers are just like jagged. But along these same lines, it's amazing. Like if I'm going to go eat a piece of cake,
before you even eat
my
the cake,
pancreas starts producing extra
your mind knows.
insulin, and my blood sugar will drop before I eat the cake. And it's crazy to watch. Yeah. Cause it knows like, oh, this fool's about to eat fucking cake.
This fool is about to eat cake.
And that's just like, there you go. Like, that's a great like way that you can go watch how your mind gets your body to do things.
But it's the same thing with the nicotine. You want the nicotine. And so your mind wants it. So
one of my hacks, icebreakers.
Oh, mints.
It's like blue and white, the same color as the nicotine that I used. It's in this circular thing.
Do you stick it in your lip?
Yeah. I slip it right here. And I fool myself. And then and I've been doing it, and it's like, God, I don't know.
It's something. It's tingly, right?
But I go to see this acupuncturist, and she's like, telling me about her husband is dealing with the nicotine, and he did the same thing. And she's like, yeah, now he's just addicted to the mints. It's like, well, I guess like an icebreaker mint's better than nicotine. It's got to end eventually, though.
I mean, You got to get off the mint.
I mean, does it fucking matter? The
And then-
mints don't matter.
I mean, it depends on how crazy you go with the icebreakers.
That's true. I haven't gotten to 20 a day yet. So as long as I can keep it like between 3 and 5 a day, like I think I'll be okay. It gets ridiculous though. Like is there a way to live where there's nothing?
I don't think so.
That you're trying to get better at?
I think this human condition, we need stimulus at all times. So we got it, whatever you got to get. And so I'm happy with the caffeine. I stick with the caffeine.
Yeah.
There could be a lot worse. I drink a lot of water. I don't drink a lot of sodas. I don't drink a lot of anything other than water and coffee.
Me too. I like non-alcoholic beer, actually. That's
you do?
good. I do. Yeah.
You think, how much of that do you think you actually like the flavor, and how much of that do you think is just the nostalgia?
It's like the peppermint in my lip.
Yeah.
Like I like having a nice frosty beer after a hard day's work.
Yeah. I never enjoyed the taste of beer. I only drank to get drunk, and I was young. I never drank as like an adult and I never enjoyed alcohol in a setting where we weren't partying. You never just had a beer or had a glass of wine at dinner. I never did any of that. I only drank to get wasted. So I never had that kind of thing to be nostalgic about.
There was this great nostalgia from probably starting playing in a band when I was 18 and hanging out at places like Eight Airs and Sons of Herman Hall. And those reward sensors in our brain, like the dopamine hits, like to go sit in a honky tonk when I was 18 years old and get served beer like a grown up and be taken seriously and getting paid to go play in this band. Like there's something about all of that where it was just the coolest thing that I could ever imagine. And smoking a cigarette, like at the bar, like all of that was so fucking cool. Like I manifested it. Like this is so cool.
It's probably the same thing of like being in a corporate job and wearing a nice suit and taking a break at lunch and getting a martini and feeling that kind of coolness.
Yeah.
Like I'm here, I'm business, but I can still enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's kind of a status thing, or kind of you're elevated to a point where you can do these things you want to do.
In high school, and still one of my favorite movies of all time is Pulp Fiction.
Great movie.
And
we just watched it at the movie theater a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah. For your movie night?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
It was great. You were invited.
I missed that. I know we talked about what movie, but I don't think I remember anyway, next one. But like when Butch goes to meet Marcellus Wallace at the bar.
Yeah.
And they're like smoking their cigarettes and they're in that like bar with like the red lighting and stuff. Like that vibe was so alluring to me. It reminds me of like Cosmos or something like that, like some place like that. And that was my favorite movie in high school. And then getting to go live on the road, and we just played dive bars for a living for 4 years. So just playing dive bars all over the world and doing that every night. Like, I'm living my fantasy. I'm getting paid to drink and smoke cigarettes and play my songs that I wrote on stage to a bunch of people. Like, this is so cool. So breaking that was not easy, and still I like to go have that beer, and for sure it brings back something. And if I go to like a steakhouse or something, like I know which steakhouses do not have non-alcoholic beer, and they suck, by the way. Like I'm not going there if they don't have non-alcoholic beer. I think it's very rude. Because having like that beer with like in a restaurant or something is really nice for me still. I don't want the alcohol though.
Is there an alcoholic beer that's like really like brewed really nice, like a really good beer?
Yeah.
Or it's all just like O'Doul's. Seems like just like
No.
Smells bad, looks bad.
There's one called Klostaller
that
I like. Heineken's probably the most popular one now. It used to be like O'Doul's was the only game in town, but in recent years, not drinking has become on trend.
Yeah.
So it's like cool to not drink. Like it's cool to not smoke, right?
Yeah. Well, the pouches are cool.
Pouches are cool, but I still felt shameful with the pouches. Like I felt like a little bit of a degenerate, like having a pouch in all the time. I'd like smile for a photo and like
there's a little bit of
a little pouch there. You can't really smile like a good smile when you have a fucking nicotine pouch in your mouth. And I thought about things like that. And I don't like feeling the need. It's one thing to need coffee when I wake up in the morning, or maybe like before I do a podcast or something, but the nicotine was all day, every day. Like I don't like
something about
needing something like all day.
It's the need. It's feeling dependent.
Yeah.
And not feeling in control is what your shame is based from.
Whether it's good for me or not good for me, I don't care. I don't like to feel that need for something.
What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Legacy Ink, the finest in tattoo pigments. I've been using this ink exclusively for over 20 years myself. It has been recently rebranded and marketed, but it has been the same recipe for decades. Real, hand-mixed tattoo pigments that heal great and last. People always comment on the yellow that I use and the yellow tattooed on me, my favorite, the Mayan yellow. I have seen countless 20-plus-year-old tattoos with the colors still vivid. Don't duck around with all these newfangled companies with their watered-down baloney. Get the tried, true, and tested good shit. You can find them on Instagram at Legacy Pigments or email Ashley today to place an order at legacyartsupplies@gmail.com. Tell them Oliver sent you and receive a special discount. Don't just do tattoos. Be part of a legacy. And most things that you are addicted to mask that shame very well. Like being really drunk, your awareness goes away. You know, doing a lot of cocaine, your self-awareness goes away, and you're not thinking about it.
Well,
until
like
later when you
come
down and you're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah. There's just slingshots, and it goes from not thinking about it to way worse.
To all you think about.
Yeah.
And then you're so ashamed that you just have to get drunk again to cover it up. And then it's that cycle. And next thing you know, you're in rehab.
That's right. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
And you don't kill yourself. And I used to think of like depression and anxiety and all of that as like made up things when I was in my 20s. And like suicide.
I didn't think of them as made up things, but I did not understand them.
I don't know. I think my 20-year-old version of myself thought of them as weaknesses.
Oh, these people
are weak and they're not able to deal with life. Meanwhile, I was drinking, like binge drinking and doing cocaine and chain smoking cigarettes. Like literally.
You're just covering it all up.
Killing myself. Yeah. I was committing suicide in some form that I viewed that I had my shit together, and this is how you handle life. Not only is this how you handle life, like this is the only way to live. And if you're not drinking at lunch every day, and you're not saying fuck you to the system, and by getting drunk all the time, like then you failed and you're a loser. And
you're literally just masking all your problems.
How insane is that behavior? And I was so arrogant about it too. Like, oh, you're depressed? You're going to an AA meeting? Oh my God, loser. I couldn't even process it if somebody was telling me they went to an AA meeting. Like, what are you talking about? This girl brought me a Desire chip to the stage when the Boys Named Sue were playing one time. And I didn't even really know what it was, but I also like absolutely knew what it was. And I just laughed, you know?
Yeah, you knew it was you knew it was a sober thing. Is all you knew.
Yeah. And she's like, just reach out if you ever are ready. And I laughed it off, did a shot, but I'll never forget that moment. And it's not like I immediately went to AA after that.
But she was extending an olive branch out or a lifeline or let you know that there is something. Whenever you are ready, there is help.
Yeah. And I've become now the person that talks about this all of the time, you know? And and it's helpful because when it was time for me to quit and I was really struggling, like, I don't want to be this version of myself, right? I knew that, like, I don't want to be drunk dad to my daughter and now to my son also. But my buddy, he got his life all fucked up from drinking too much, and he went to rehab, and I kind of heard, and I called him, and when he told me his whole story, hearing that was like exactly what I needed to hear. So I try to be like as transparent and open about my story now all the time, because I know that saved my ass hearing his story. Not hearing someone tell me,
Yeah.
you
What
need
you
to
should
go
do.
drink or quit drinking or whatever, but like, here's why I quit drinking. And then you just see the change that occurs in someone when they're telling you that story. And it's like, wow, you're like, dude, you need to save some lies. Like, why are you telling me all this shit that you did? Things that I would never, like the bad things I used to do. Like, I wouldn't tell a therapist about them. I wouldn't tell an AA sponsor. Even when I was sober for 5 years, I wouldn't tell shit. But now it's like, I fucking talked about everything I've done on my podcast now, and it doesn't faze me. But
well, a lot about your podcast is you're talking to people about, it's a lot of positivity, a lot of motivation, a lot of how do you stay focused. It's, kind of what I've heard you talk to a lot of people about is how they got to where they are, and a lot of times it's about real estate. And a lot of times it's not. Sometimes it's just about another musician or another friend of yours or some jackass tattooer like me on there just talking whatever. Yeah. But it's all about, I try to do the same thing on here, just talk about life transformation and how positive mental attitude can take you through whatever situation you're going through. But you have spilled yourself out over and over and over again on all this.
Yeah. And then it becomes where it doesn't even feel like any effort goes into it. And then I think that really, I know there's those other people that are in the same shoes that I was once in when my buddy was telling me all of this stuff so candidly, that made me feel like so like normal, like, oh my God, if he does all the same shit that I'm doing here. And that was like so comforting for me when I was living in that place. Like, I try to be that for other people now, just because I know there's people out there that think that that's the greatness of AA, is you go into a room with a bunch of fucked up people that are open about how fucked up they are. And then you kind of like, don't feel like you're the only fuck up out there. It's like, whoa.
And people are continuing with life after having problems where you thought you can't go any further. And you're like, hey, look, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a path out of here. There is a way to keep going. Like, life is not over. A lot of people feel like they fucked up so much, or they've fucked over so many people, or their life is so that there's nothing left. And that's what AA does. It shows you that there is more down the road.
Yeah. And oftentimes you see too, just in general, when you are dealing with people that overcome challenges, it's like the greater challenges that people bounce back from. It almost catapults them to like levels of like success or happiness or something in like the opposite direction. It's like the yin yang, the Tao. I think about that. Like, if you go super into the depths of darkness, then you can actually access like super extremes of light that you might not have otherwise accessed without that.
That's one of my main focuses on talking to people when I do this podcast is life transformation, because one thing that, I wanted to do the podcast, and I wanted to start, I used to have this internet radio show a long time ago. I've talked about that a bunch, and it just was like, just like talking shit, and I like talking to people, and I like seeing whatever. But once I started really going down the road of doing this, I realized that the most interesting people I know that have done the most cool shit have been through the hardest times. And it's like that, without the fire, the steel doesn't get forged. That whole mentality, that without going through struggle, there is no triumph. If everything is easy, then you just sit on the couch and do nothing. Like, if if your parents pay for everything, then there's nothing to do. But the people that like fight and claw and struggle, they're the ones that end up on the top. And that's what I think it's fucking cool. And I love hearing how, those inspirational stories and how, and to me, it's always having the attitude that makes it possible.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe, then it's not going to happen. The saying is, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You know that saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's what it is. If you think you can do it, you can do it. If you think you can't do it, you can't do it. And so I always delve into people's anybody that's succeeded in whatever is because they had to struggle to get there.
Yeah. And the other thing about this whole thing is the shame. And it's just telling the truth disintegrates the shame.
Yeah.
And that's this other formula. Like, have the positive mental attitude and believe in yourself, and then just own your fucking truth. And when you become the type of person who owns your truth, it's just like the truth will set you free. This is a cliche for a reason, but the world just like unfolds with ease around you, and you have nothing to hide. There's nothing anyone can say about me. The government can have video of me doing whatever, records of payments on whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I've talked about it on my fucking podcast. Like, there's nothing you can say to me that's not already out there, or if it's not, that I won't own 100%, because I realize I'm human like you, and I don't judge anybody for any of the shit they've done. Like, we've seen people do all kinds of fucked up things over, and including ourselves. But like, you just look at everything from a state of compassion, and just like everybody's just getting through this thing, and how can I make that easier on me and on others while I'm here?
And that don't give a fuck attitude, like that, I don't care what you say about me, I don't care what people think about me. That is not really an attitude of disregard for yourself. That's an attitude of acceptance and self-confidence, and just, I know what I've done. I know what I can do. I know what I will do. I know what I want to do. I know what it's just and that, the shame, once you get that self-confidence, the shame goes away.
Yeah.
Or the burden of shame.
Yeah. Yeah. And because you can be confused with like, oh, that person has no shame because they act like a fucking idiot. Like, that's different. And because they actually do have lots of shame if they're acting that way. But if you truly have no shame, it's just like, to live without shame, I think, is to make wiser decisions.
Yeah.
Or at least like know your weaknesses, right? And just like live in this elevated state of consciousness around, will I drink again? My case, I'm like, if I had to gamble on it, probably. Like, will I use nicotine again? Probably. But I'm going to be like aware.
Yeah.
And like, this is not a good idea. Do you remember being on Oliver's podcast from day 6 in the nicotine? You're crying about it like a little baby. Like, don't go back to being that person. But I don't know, but just owning it and trying to do better and just trying to do the best you can do. That's what you can do.
I mean, when I was young and sober a short amount of time, my attitude was, if people would talk, are you going to drink again, or you think you'll relapse, whatever, I was always like, I fucking hope not. You know what I mean? I was hoping not to do it. And I just, I didn't, being young, and I didn't really have like, I didn't have like this idea that I was going to stay sober for 30 years. I was just like, I need to be sober right now, and the whole one day at a time thing. One day turns into 30 years. You just keep doing it.
I told someone yesterday I had breakfast with, like, about being an alcoholic. I identify as an alcoholic. I'm happy to say I'm an alcoholic. Do I really believe I'm an alcoholic to my core? I don't think so, but it makes it easier. It's an easier story to tell. Like, I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink. Like, then like, no, I'm not an alcoholic, but I don't drink. Like, but who fucking cares? Like, if it helps me get there, sure. But the whole thing, there's not always black and white. There's always gray area. Like, is no black and white, really. I think it's maybe sometimes, but for the most part, gray area. And
I just
don't
learned
know.
I was going to do better if I wasn't wasted. I learned I was going to not go to jail if I wasn't on drugs. I learned that I was going to be able to get up and do more work and do more shit if I
Yeah.
wasn't fucked up. And that's what I learned.
It's choosing peace over chaos, kind of, to a degree too. Like, which one's going to happen if I drink again? Like, is my life going to become more peaceful if I start drinking again? Absolutely not. And that's really all I see.
But how many times you try it before, like you get sober and you're like, I could drink again.
Yeah.
And you get sober and you're like, I could drink again.
Yeah,
At some point, you got to be like, I already did this so many times.
You do it enough where, but I have to be realistic, but it is every day. Like, it's just a decision. Like, do I really want to experience what a hangover feels like as a 46-year-old? I haven't had to yet. Like, the older I get, I know the worse it gets. Like, I don't need that. And I think we were talking about this before the show, but, this nicotine too.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident I'm like in staying off the nicotine. Unless I drink, do drugs again, and then it goes right out the
nicotine
window.
is like such a driving force right now, and I think it's weird that there's all these people and advertisements and podcasts and people talking about the positive effects of nicotine. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me that my whole life everybody used to smoke and everything was great, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, smoking's bad, everybody's got to quit smoking, and smoking was like the worst enemy number one in America, and then now all of a sudden like, hey. Remember all that bad stuff we said? Nicotine is good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
asterisk 4 milligrams per day of nicotine is good for you, and a lozenge. Yeah, the whole thing's weird. I feel like not doing nicotine is definitely good for you. I would not recommend it.
I think the phrase "doing nicotine" is funny. It cracks me up every time with "do nicotine."
Yeah. It's some good shit though, man.
I never had it.
I'm glad to be off of it.
It's some good shit. I'm glad to be off of it. That's a good quote.
Dude.
At that quote, I'm going to take a break and pee real quick. Are we back? Back from peeing. I think I'm addicted to peeing. I drink so much water just because I want to pee more because it feels so good.
Have you had a colonoscopy?
I did.
I just did one. While we're on the wellness topic.
Are you going to live
today? Yeah, it was, and my results were favorable. So they said I don't need to come back for 10 more years.
There you go. Good news.
I did do a nicotine pouch right before I went. The nurse is like, have you had any food or water before this? And I was like, well.
Nicotine.
Yeah, she's like, did you smoke beforehand? I was like, well, why would smoking matter anyway if you're getting a colonoscopy? But I know they're knocking me out, so I didn't want to die. And I was like, well, I did do a nicotine pouch. It's like, how long ago? It's like,
right now it's in my lip.
Yeah, like 15 minutes ago. And I was lying because it was like in my lip right then. I still had to lie because I felt the shame around it. She's like, well, we'll let you back there this time, but you shouldn't have done that. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh my God.
But I'm just glad to be beyond that, beyond the nicotine.
The other side.
I don't want
6 days,
back.
bud. 6
Dude,
days.
I feel like this, like there's suppressed vitality within me that nicotine was holding back though.
Have you ever done?
And it's like getting unleashed and like, whoa, this is, it's cool. Like it's this cool new energy that undoubtedly when you do something like in an addictive manner, it like snuffs out your life force energy to
any struggle. Any physical struggle you put yourself through, your body's gonna react to it.
Yeah, and using artificial things to like for mental health purposes or these things, like there's just got to be a better way.
Have you ever done like a cleanse or a fast or something where you don't eat for 2 weeks or anything like that?
I've done a 5-day fast.
Yeah, where it's like there's points in that. Like I've done. Some cleanses where you only drink like the water and the juice and the lemon and syrup, the massive.
You live on cleanse as far as I'm concerned, being a vegan.
But I've done some of these cleanses where I've done like the longest one I did was 14 days. And during that 14 days, there was like times without eating any bite of anything. There's times where you're like, I'm never going to make it. And then there's other times where your body is like forcing through that you just feel the best.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're like, how do I feel so good when I'm like, haven't done the things so it's like your body is like just manifesting the power, the will, or it's sucking all the energy out of the rest of your body or whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's something like your body also might think that it's like dying or something, so that it like turns on like your superpower. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. You're going to live.
Like day 10, you got more energy than than you used to. And it's like, how is this even possible?
Yeah. I need to do another fast. Those are always
well, you're
fun.
fasting nicotine right now, bud.
That is true. Yeah.
They also say one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get off the nicotine.
I don't need to be making any big decisions this week being off the nicotine.
Oh, that's one of the big things that they one of the big things in getting sober is like, just, you don't make any life-changing decisions. You just concentrate on the task at hand.
It's such a common thing for me to have friends. I don't feel like I've done this, but I've had friends that have done it for sure. Like, oh, I'm getting divorced. I'm getting engaged. I'm building a house. Like, whoa, I'm quitting my job. I'm starting this new business. Like, dude, like, you've been sober 2 months. Like, dude, fucking
don't get married
don't
again.
Do anything.
That's for goddamn sure.
Doing ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I did that one time. And before you do the ayahuasca, they're the same thing. Like, don't make any crazy decisions like right when you get home from doing this, because you just like have a new lease on life.
You like tell your boss to fuck off.
Yeah, like just hold back. Time's normally good for like any big decisions.
So during this whole crazy years of doing fitness and getting off drugs and back on drugs or back on alcohol and back into the real estate business, how long did you go where you weren't making music?
Never.
So you've always,
I mean, I was always
stayed musically inclined.
I was always writing music.
Yeah.
Performing just ebbed and flowed, and I've hardly played any shows the last 4 years. That was the least I've ever performed. But during that time, I released 2 albums.
You've been recording music.
Yeah, I recorded 2 full albums, and now I'm about to have a 3rd one done. So I've wrote 30 songs and I've recorded them all, and since COVID, basically, since 2019, so 6 years. And I've never written more songs and recorded more songs like in such a condensed period of time. But I didn't really play shows. Now Pedigo and I are playing once a month, but I have like a new passion for playing. I don't have a band or anything, but I want to just...
What are y'all playing once a month right now?
At the All Good.
And what are y'all doing?
Song swap. So it's me and Pedigo.
Okay.
Acoustic guitars. We'll play some Slick 57 songs.
I was just going to ask.
His name's Sue. He'll play O's or his own stuff he's written, and I'll play all my new stuff I've written. So we just, it's so fun, man. We sit up there and tell funny stories about all of our decades spent together.
I am going to have John Pedigo on here pretty soon.
Oh, you've got to.
As soon as we can schedule it up.
You've got to, and you need to come to the All Good.
I go to the All Good quite a bit.
I want to do it every month this year and keep doing it. And I might start a band. I really enjoy playing these new songs I've written now. So I need to get back out there.
And they're on the Spotify.
They're on Spotify under my name, Ward Richmond.
Just Ward Richmond.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, it's kind of like a little bit different. There's some varied sounds. There's some like good times, chill vibe songs, and some fucking. I want to feel like there's like song. You had that one song. It was like an island vibe.
Yeah.
What was that song? You sent it to me on my phone. It was like over a year ago. But
probably that song is called Tulum.
Yeah.
It's off of my last album, Spaciousness. This one I'm working with Pedigo now. We have like some punk rock.
Yeah.
Kind of like No Effects punk rock song. And then we have like a Blink 182 punk rock song.
Which I don't like.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
I don't like Blink 182.
You'll like it because it's me and Pedigo doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just a little...
like poppy.
Like more on the poppy side of things. And I'm really just thinking like the guitar tones, you know? And that's funny. You don't like Blink-182. Like
Nobody likes Blink-182. The band sucks.
You don't like their early
I don't like
songs.
anything. They sucked.
I think it's good. I think they have clever lyrics.
Lame.
And the early stuff.
They sucked.
Do you like Dave Grohl?
I do.
I'm listening to his autobiography as we speak, and it's amazing.
Do you ever listen to Scream?
I've just been researching, like I've been reading about it, and
Yeah.
I haven't listened yet, but I just looked at their Wikipedia page because I'm listening to his autobiography.
Yeah, I saw Scream in Fort Worth at the Tombstone.
Oh yeah,
when I was in high school. It was
was he in the band then?
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Really? He's really led such a cool
I don't
life.
like Nirvana.
Really?
But I love his other stuff.
Do you like the Foo Fighters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more familiar with Nirvana than I am the Foo Fighters, but I've been listening to the Foo Fighters since listening to his book. He's just so cool. His life is pretty wild when you think about.
He's also got a very cool
what all he's done.
He's got a lot of good taste and a lot of cool shit. He does cool things.
Yeah,
you know, he's recorded a lot of other cool stuff. He's got a really cool studio. He gets really good sound. He's just a fucking.
I mean, yeah,
musical whiz
for sure. Love him drumming. He's such a good drummer. Like Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh yeah. Also saw him play drums with the Tenacious D one time in Las Vegas.
I met them one time.
It was great.
At the Bronco Bowl.
Oh man, the Bronco Bowl.
We went backstage.
If you never went to the Bronco Bowl, man, I feel sorry for it. That was such a great fucking venue. Saw so many good shows there, from wild shows, from like Jerry Lee Lewis to Billy Idol to, you know, hair metal to punk rock to, I mean, it's just, they had it all.
Pedigo had a friend who was selling merch for Tenacious D that he went to college with. So this was 2002 probably. And we went backstage and we're sitting there with Jack Black. And this is like at their peak.
I was at that show.
Of fame.
Yeah, I was at that show.
And one of my high school buddies was with us, and he starts like fanboying on Jack Black. Like, hey man, the birthday song you did on Saturday Night Live. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Hey, you remember that time?
Dude, shut the fuck up. Like, we're back here hanging out and trying to be cool. My buddy Andrew starts just like losing his shit on him. Like, oh my God. And he just like walked out of the room. Like, bye. That was cool.
Some people can't hold it together, dude. And it's just, and some people you could be cool around one person. Like you meet some famous person, you could be cool around them. But then there's another famous person out there that if you're around them, you wouldn't be able to hold it together. And I've told the story a few times. I'm just going to give a short version. Like when I met a bunch of people. I've met a bunch of famous people, and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Shake your hand. Chill. I met Steve Buscemi, and I was like,
really?
Like I couldn't fucking short circuit it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just like Steve Buscemi so much. And my mind was just spinning a million miles a minute, quoting everything that he's ever done in every movie. Like my head is just like going wild. You know what I mean? And there's other people that I really like.
But you didn't like start like being like, oh my God, you in that movie. You
no, but
like
I couldn't say anything.
You just couldn't speak.
I was just like, nah. I was just like, yeah. And like shook his hand. And
that's funny. I can't imagine you being like
dude,
that.
And I literally stood there and I was like, not saying anything, but just looking crazy. And then he goes, you want to get a picture? And I just nodded. And I was,
it's like he knew what was going on.
I couldn't hold it together.
Yeah.
And that same night, I was at this award show thing that Ink Master sent us to, and there was like tons of people there that I love. You know, famous people were there. And I was like, cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. Steve Buscemi, short-circuited.
That's funny.
And so there's, you know, I could see, and I've never, you know, you see it happen. Like I've seen it happen with people when I'm with Dave Navarro. Some people meet Dave Navarro and they're like, oh man, it's great to meet you. I love your band. And they're cool. And they like, can you sign this? And he signs it. And they high five or they hug or they walk off. And then other people are just like, ah! and just freak out.
I was cool around Dave Navarro.
He's a nice
He's
guy.
so cool. Yeah,
He's
he
a
was
nice
just cool
guy.
to be around.
But certain people will short circuit with, with that one.
Yeah, I wonder who would do that to me if someone would. I spent the night at Jessica Biel's house one time.
Oh my God. All I think about.
I was so cool.
I would have asked her if she sat in the sink. Will you sit in the sink? Remember that Maxim magazine where she's sitting in the sink?
No.
That's all I think about.
Really?
I think about
Clearly.
it. I think about it every week.
I have a magazine cover like that in my mind with Britney Spears when she was on Rolling Stone one of the times in 2002. And we called our Sleek 57 EP that we used, that we shopped back then, we called it the Britney Sessions, because we just looked at that Rolling Stone magazine through the whole recording session. But I remember when I hung out with Jessica Biel, because I had a friend that was staying with her randomly because he had black mold in his house. His girlfriend was her personal assistant or something. And I was like, I was cooler than I'd ever been in my life. I was even like looking at myself like, how are you behaving so cool right now? I almost like fed off of how cool she was and became cooler. And that was another like, and I recognized like there's some energy about these celebrities that's special. And I think it can like totally polarize you where you probably lose your shit, or you can like feed off of it and like, wow, I feel like extra amplified being next to Jessica Biel.
Well, Jessica Biel was like this really cute, wholesome actress that was on like a TV show that everybody's like, oh, she's so adorable and blah, blah, blah. And then Maxim magazine did a thing of her. And it was the first time that she was like,
became
a little nasty.
A little nasty.
Like she's sitting for some reason, whatever genius came up with this, they're like, you know what you should do? Just be in your little t-shirt and little panties. Just sit in the sink. We'll take a photo. She's just sitting up in a sink, which is so awkward. But man,
sounds hot.
You gotta see. You haven't seen that?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my God. And if I was there at her house and there was any sink around, I'd be like, hey, do me a favor. Take a photo of this. Are you Googling it right now?
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't have good reception.
Oh, well, we'll look at it later. That's pretty wild. So you stayed at Jessica Biel's house. You partied, did a bunch of cocaine. You got wild, sat in sinks.
She was very health oriented. I did not even smoke cigarettes at her house because I felt like I don't want to like gross her out.
She's very fit.
And this is when I was like 27 and I really didn't care too much about what people thought. But yeah she's super fit and she was like getting up.
Where was this?
Is in LA.
Man.
My friend got married in LA and
did you tell him not to do it?
He's still married. I just told my friend the other day, like, I get why people get married. Get married a second time.
No way.
He was gonna have an engagement party for him to get married a second time. And it's like, dude, I'm not gonna go like support you doing something stupid. So like I love you, but I'm not going to go to your engagement party when you're 46 years old and you've already been married and you have 3 kids. Like, it's like, I don't go to engagement parties really, unless it's like my children when they get to that age. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't go.
Yeah.
I don't go to any of it.
It seems and this is like also post rehab engagement that I mentioned earlier too. So it's like, this is not a good idea, man.
Yeah, I don't
but it's never really a good idea.
I'm on a hard wedding boycott. I don't go to weddings or any affiliated such.
I used to be a big gambler, and way back in my days of
there's no bigger gamble than getting married. It's the biggest gamble you can do.
Well, it's the dumbest gamble. Like, what if you look at like what the chances are of you succeeding? It's almost like a better chance of me drinking and being okay than me getting married and that being like a happy marriage.
If the chances were the same with skydiving, nobody would skydive.
No. Yeah.
Here's the other thing I tell people.
These are just the chances of people that actually get divorced, not the people that are like living together, married, and not happy.
Here's what I say. Everyone is going to die. For sure. You are going to die. And there is a company that will give you life insurance, knowing that you are going to die 100%. They will still give you life insurance. There is no company that will give you marriage insurance.
I've never looked into it.
Get marriage insurance. That ain't going to happen. They're going to be like, no way.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me.
So you're not getting married again?
I don't see a world where that would happen, but much like with me ever drinking again, never say never. It's a day at a time.
Hey, if you start drinking again,
I'm not getting married today.
You might get married again.
Oh, for sure. If I start drinking again, I'll do all kinds of stupid things. And then I'll eventually stop again. I do have faith. If I start drinking again, I will stop again. And I'll be like,
unless it kills you.
Yeah, unless I die in the process. That's a big reason why I don't drink, is because of fentanyl. Because I think if I were to drink, then I would definitely
do cocaine.
And then now the likelihood of there being fentanyl in the cocaine is just scary. And I know that I'm not going to do cocaine in the bathroom sober. But if I drink, I make stupid fucking decisions.
The scary thing is that when we were kids, there was, adults and parents that were like, oh, encourage your kids to just be curious, try things, maybe do this. It's okay to fucking smoke a little weed. It's okay to fucking maybe party a little bit. Just be careful, be responsible, learn from your lessons, blah, blah, blah. But nowadays you can't even tell your kid to try anything.
No.
Because the first time you try something, it could be the end.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. We're not living in the same world.
Yeah, and these drug dealers are intentionally selling fentanyl to people because it's so highly addictive.
But we also don't know if the person selling the drugs even knows what's in the drug.
Right.
That's the problem. Because there's people that are think they're getting Xanax, and they're not getting Xanax.
They're putting fentanyl in cocaine, and it has the exact opposite effect. I just talked to this lady that runs Amplified Minds. It's Foundation 45, their new thing, and talking about fentanyl, because
is that about Frankie 45?
Frankie 45, yeah. They're all about they're having to deal with that in the mental health world, is fentanyl ODs all the time. And I just didn't understand, if you want cocaine, why are they putting fentanyl in the cocaine? And she said it's just because it's so addictive. The drug dealers like to roll the dice and think, oh, we'll just give them fentanyl, and then they're going to like it so much that they're going to buy more drugs. It seems so crazy, but great time to be sober with this going on. Great reason to be sober. And also, man, it's just, that's such a good reason to not do drugs right there. I heard Kid Rock talk about it a lot.
About
not
fentanyl?
He doesn't do coke anymore, he says, because of that.
Yeah.
Because of fentanyl. It's fuck that.
Scary. Well, you think Kid Rock could get the good shit.
Right. Well, but still, Tom Petty died of it. Prince died of it. These rock stars.
Did they ever find out what Tom Petty thought he was getting?
I don't know.
Because I heard that it was fentanyl, but it was an unintentional fentanyl overdose. But what was he trying to get? Was he trying to get pills? Was he trying to get, maybe he was just trying to chill out with something, What
I know from being a former drug addict is that you don't give a fuck when you want drugs.
Yeah.
You aren't that meticulous about what you're doing.
Just give me something.
Yeah. And especially if you've been drinking.
Yeah.
And you're the times that I would do coke anyway, it's not really it was a normal thing.
Yeah, you didn't decide at noon, hey, tonight we're going to get cocaine.
Yeah.
You decided at 1 a.m., hey, there's cocaine here, let's do it.
Yeah. Or, hey, we're in Vegas. Yeah. Let's go ask this fucking valet park guy if he can get some coke for us, and then let's go do it. And that's the kind of stupid shit you do. Well, I do if I'm on alcohol. And then that right there is high likelihood of coming across some fentanyl in this day and age, which is a great reason not to drink. So that's why I'm not going to drink today. Boom.
Or do nicotine.
At
least one more day without nicotine. Tomorrow's the 1 week, bud.
Yeah, the worst is over, man.
You're going to be great.
I'm good.
You're going to be great. So did you say you've recorded the third album, or you're finishing recording the third album?
I'm finishing recording the third album with John Pettigo at the helm as the producer. I'm really excited.
Where are you recording
it.
at?
It's my favorite of all my albums I've ever recorded. at
know,
his house.
Every current project should be your favorite thing you've ever done.
For sure, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what if what you're doing right now is not your favorite thing, then go back to doing what you were doing when that was your favorite thing. Like, you should always progress to that.
I remember John and I were just talking about this. Slick 57, we recorded 4 albums. The 4th album, we had like 4 of the songs from the 3rd album on the 4th album. And
they're so good. Do it again.
That was just and we changed the names of the songs on the album.
Did you change lyrics or no?
No.
Oh,
it was like that's just like how unhappy we were with the band.
But also, it's a new audience. They don't know the 3rd album.
They don't know, and yeah, but
if you bought our 3rd album, don't buy.
We were
one.
just like not into it. You know what I mean? Like when you see that a lot of times, like a band putting out an album with repeat songs on it, songs shouldn't have to be hard to come by when you're playing in a band that you enjoy playing with. I think it should flow, like the energy. I never thought about this back then, but it's so clear now. Like, we were just not in alignment with our soul's purpose. So God stopped giving us songs.
So now you got good shit coming.
Fuck yeah.
What's the name of the new album?
I think I'm going to call it The Non-Alcoholic Beer Drinking Man. No, I don't know.
Who all's playing on it?
I have a song on it called The Good-Hearted Drug Dealing Guy.
No? The non-fentanyl drug dealing guy.
It talks about that. One of the lines is, he invested in a fentanyl test kit because he doesn't want you to die.
That's pretty good.
Or get himself arrested. He's always got the best shit. So if you're looking to buy, I still got the number for the good-hearted drug dealing guy. It's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty good. What
but I think I'm gonna call it Every Single Symptom. It's a line on one of the songs just about like having symptoms of addiction.
That's pretty good.
Every Single Symptom.
What who else playing on it? Pedigo.
Joshua Ray Walker's playing guitar on it.
Very cool.
James Driscoll's playing bass. Trey Pendergrass is playing drums.
Pendergrass.
John's, of course, playing on it. Chad Stockschlager's playing keys.
I haven't seen Chad in a long time. How's he doing?
He's doing great. He waits tables at Madison King's restaurant.
Does he
be home soon?
Does he look 70 years old?
He just looks like Chad.
Yeah.
He doesn't look. He looked like the same. He looked like kind of like a old piano man when he was 22 years old, and he looks like an old piano man at 50. Like it just looks the same.
That's awesome.
Pedigo builds a really cool studio in his backyard. He has like a little barn, so he calls it the Barnito Studio.
I like that.
And I've recorded at lots of places. This is my favorite place. I'm not just saying it. Like, just the vibe is so awesome. It's 5 minutes from my house.
And you and Pedigo have been friends since you were 3 years old.
Yeah. We play. His mom literally like coached my kindergarten soccer team that we were on together. And we started playing. We wrote our first song together when I was 15 and he was 14.
I mean, literally lifelong friends.
Lifelong friends. And now he lives 5 minutes away from me, and he has a recording studio at his house, and he's become a masterful producer. And through this album, I didn't like go in and say, hey, I have 10 songs. Let's record in 2 weeks. I just go over there every week and we lay something down.
And just run through it.
And now we've got 10 songs. So now we're like adding on, like Chad came over last week, but I just go over every week and hang out and like, man, this is cool that I think that I thought this up and I caused this reality to become possible, where I get to just go do a podcast with you and go over to John's house and record some music and maybe go like show some real estate and do that, and then go play a show at the All Good, and like this world I'm living in, like so much gratitude.
The dream.
Go ride my bike with the kids.
Living the dream.
So it's pretty cool, dude. And you need to come over to the studio.
I need to check it out. What area of town are y'all living in now?
Over by Good Friend.
Okay.
Like,
so not far from your old house over there by when you were close to me on Mockingbird.
Right. I'm at Garland and Peavy, basically.
Hell yeah.
I saw Matt Tobin this morning. go over there and have breakfast a lot.
Yeah, I used to live on Peavy at the bottom of the hill down there. Remember that? Me
That's
and Rob
right.
Martian had that house over there.
That's right.
It's a great area of town.
It's so good. Yeah.
Your kids going to school over there?
Yeah, to Hexter.
Yeah. They're not at the homeschool?
No, I've offered it up. I really, if I'm going to do homeschool, I'd want to move to the beach, and I don't think their mom would let me do that. So
Yeah.
DISD is doing the trick. So I went to DISD and I turned out fine. So
And look at you now.
look at me now.
Look at you now.
I really like everything that I got from school, from going to like Long and Woodrow, from like the diversity and the.
I think it's kind of important to have the interaction
with real,
to have the social interaction with kids.
Yeah,
I think
with
that's
people
very
from all
important.
different walks of life. Like
I'm hoping that we get less. I'm hoping we get more detached from the virtual world and more intact with the physical world. I think that's going to be a big turn in the next generation. People need to, have more of that.
the realness, man, is
Yes.
just going to be like authenticity. It sounds cliche because people say it all the time, but like true realness is this. It's like the new, this asset class that exists. Like it's less and less available with the greater the technology becomes. And this art of doing podcasting, I love it so much because this can't, like, sure, AI can do this. And I just talked to someone the other day, a chiropractor, and he's having AI do a podcast on a thing. So fake.
So does
AI
it talk to
robots
itself?
talk to a robot, like a robot that sounds like one guy talks to a robot that sounds like a gal about some injury.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't have to do the podcast and he can put it on his social media. Like, check out this podcast.
Have two
on this
people
thing.
talk about scapular displacement and then they talk about it.
Yeah. But like, I'm not going to listen to that.
But wait, at what point are you going to listen to something and not know that it's fake and then find out later?
Then I guess it doesn't matter.
Then it doesn't matter. But your podcast, Trucking On, you've been doing it for a little while. How long?
122 episodes.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah.
So I started.
I've been on it twice.
Yep. You have.
So y'all can check it
They're
out.
great episodes. Your first one, especially.
It's kind of chaotic because we're in the tat shop tattooing at the same time. So it's kind of just like.
Yeah. I've never done a podcast other than with you where I'm getting tattooed, which we did both times. But the first episode, I asked you like the normal 15 questions, and like hearing your life story was so cool because I've known you for 25 years or longer. Longer?
I think longer.
You gave me my first tattoo in August of 99. I remember that.
99 was a great year.
So, yeah. Coming up on 26 years. 213s.
Hell yeah.
And where was I going with this? Oh, but just hearing that story. So you got to go check out Oliver's episodes, both of them. Second one, we got more political leaning. We talked about freedom.
There's a lot of freedom issues going on these days.
Dude, we talked right before the election, I think. And so now, post-election, it just, I just don't pay attention to any of it really. Like,
I mean,
I don't get caught up in that shit.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too insane.
I feel bad for the people that are like really living in a state of fear right now. And if you go there, the AI will like try to take you out, I think. And like, it'll try to make you go insane. If you want to see fear and horror on your social media feed.
Yeah. It'll take you there.
It'll take you there. And I talk to people and it's really clear they're obsessed with it and worried about it and it's consuming their lives, or they just don't really. I mean, sure, I'm concerned about people that are scared all the time, my fellow humans, my friends, but I'm thankfully not like that.
Well, the internet's a tricky place, man. Anything you want to see is on there.
Yeah, not only that, it will find you.
If you want to believe something, there's proof of it. Either side can find proof for their argument on the internet. It's proof of it.
And dude, when I start thinking about something, like things appear on Facebook. I went on a date the other night to the barbecue place over by the lake. What's it called?
High class date.
Smoky Rose. Have you been there?
No.
It's great barbecue. And I had the half board of beef, and it has like you can't go there, of course. Well, you can eat pickles and onions.
Yeah.
But anyway, it had like all the things, like turkey, ribs, brisket on this board. There's a good little first date. I go to Facebook, and it's like intimidated by my first date. And there's some real hot girl with like giant boobs in front of a board at a barbecue restaurant, like eating this. Like, how does this even know that this is happening?
They're
like in
tracking you, bro. They're tracking you.
The boobs on Facebook, though, I mean,
they're tracking you.
They could have been AI boobs. They were pretty impressive looking. So
AI, you mentioned that you might incorporate some AI into your music.
Well, really just music video making.
Oh.
So I don't.
Yeah, you said you recorded some stuff, or you're gonna record?
I have used digital drums on the last album, and we're using some on this
album. But digital
album.
drums, did somebody play these digital drums, or did you just program and say, hey, put drums to this, and it put what drums it thought?
I don't know how to use anything, but like Pedigo and Jason Burt, who did the last album, they get on there and they start doing it. There has to be some sort of like computer know-how going on.
Just lay a beat.
Yeah, to go like create a digital beat. Like, so in terms of that, I don't really consider that AI though, because I think, but it will be, I think.
But you could just lay a guitar track and then tell AI to put drums to it, and it would just put drums to it.
Sure.
And it would decide what beat, what time, what hit, what this.
Yeah. And are they using some program that does this? I don't even ask or know.
Yeah.
But I think digital drums do have a place in music and sound cooler sometimes. Like I want it to have that digital feel. But what I was talking to you about, well, really on my podcast is how I discovered this, because I've just hired this guy to figure this out for me, and it'll take like the best clips of the podcast and turn it into shorts and write captions and do all of this stuff. And it like rates it in terms of virility. Like so I think that's the word, like, is this going to go viral or not? Like, what are the chances? And it does all of this for you. But what I just did for this new album is I did a green screen of me playing guitar in front of the green screen on all of the songs on the album. So now instead of making 10 music videos where I have to get, like we used to make Party Police videos together and go get people and get the film crew out and do all that.
Now you just say AI.
I spent an hour and a half playing my guitar in front of a green screen, and now I can just go drop it into AI.
Did you change outfits between songs?
No, I just wore like simple.
Can the AI change your outfit?
I don't think so.
I mean, who knows?
I just wore like a black t-shirt, and it's what I wear most of the time anyway. I thought about changing outfits per song, but then I was like, whatever. It'll almost be kind of funny. Oh, I wore sunglasses for everyone. So it's just like, I'm going to have the same outfit on in the sunglasses, but I'm going to have different backgrounds and different things happening depending on what the song is. And I'm curious to see how that works. And then I think I can make like shorts of the songs once I do that. And then you go use AI to do that. Like which part of this song is the best and put it on TikTok. And if that gets the music out there to more people, then cool. I mean, we didn't have all this in the old Slick 57 days. You play shows, you put up flyers, and that's it. And now may as well use all of this to get the word out, right?
I mean, I understand that. If I could somehow be in charge of it, I would get rid of it, of AI. I would be like, I would erase it. I would not have it. But I'm an old school kind of mentality. I am very curious to see where it goes and what happens with it, but I feel like the internet so far is already not really done a lot of great things. I mean, it's done a lot of great things, but overall, I think that people aren't happier. Human beings aren't happier now since the internet. More people are more depressed. Now, is the internet making them depressed, or is it just coincidence that we have more internet and we have more depression? I don't know. I would wipe it out and see.
Okay, so what about this? Here's my theory on it all. Is that the internet is used to create this, like, all the fakeness and all the depression, and the AI even is just going to compound it more and more and more. And it's actually going to, like, break it down and make this, like, realness and authenticity and truth become so important and so valuable that then it leads to a rapid overnight evolution of the human species.
Well,
where then
trust.
You're all, like, communicating telepathically, and you have to think of the fact that we are like tadpoles right now in terms of the evolutionary process, and that this is all just part of the plan to smash us down and, like, expand to this next levels of consciousness that can't even, like, none of all this shit's going to seem silly.
Yeah, we watched this movie the other night that was called The Electric State. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
But it's like it's an alternate reality movie. It's based on Earth. It's based in with humans. And it's like there's a timeline from the 80s when robots came to power, or not came to power, but came to be. And AI was prevalent. And then we lived this last 30 years of life with it. And then there was like a revolution against robots. And we have, like, advanced to this civilization that lives digitally. Like, you put on this helmet and you just lay there in a gelative state, like Idiocracy, and just, like, live whatever. And then this whole movie is like the breakout of breaking free of that digital world and coming back to being a human or whatever. It's like a weird, very strange movie. I mean, it's visually very entertaining, but it's a story that is inspirational of getting back to human connection is the end of it, which I think I was expecting it to not go that direction, but
no, and I believe that's ultimately what will need to happen.
Because in this movie, the rebels were the people that stayed off of the virtual world.
Yeah. By doing things like this, like tattooing, playing music, like interacting with people, having real conversations, doing podcasts, like, and being, like, out there, then the more you do that kind of stuff, it's like the less impacted you are.
Yeah.
Like, the less impacted I am by all the political nonsense. Like, I'm not, sure, people are depressed and they're going around living in a state of fear, but if you practice yoga and meditate and read good books and hang out with good people, then you're going to be fine. But you can't, like, let that system control you. But if you do, then it's going to be like the nicotine.
I'm face to face with people every day, tattooing people, meeting with people, talking with people. And I don't see any of this mass hysteria stress in the world. But if I just look at the internet for 5 hours, that's all I see.
Yeah.
Is people distressed. I'm like, I haven't seen it. I've never seen this in real life. I've only seen it here. So I don't know if this video is even real.
For sure.
You see these people, like, people put a video. Oh, who knows who put this video up, but it's of a person, distressed about the state of the world. It's like, but how come I never met that person in real life? I don't know. I think it's depending on what your algorithm is spinning to you. It could be, I don't know. I can't put too much stock in it.
I just think, like, approaching things with optimism has always served me well anyway.
It's a PMA, baby.
Hey, and look, the AI is here.
Yeah.
You can't put a kibosh to it. So may as well figure out how to use it, make my life easier, make me more money.
Yeah.
Get more people to hear my music. Like, fuck it. I'm not gonna not use it. And I just started doing this. I just changed that's like PMA coming into play. Cause I was like, fuck AI, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like,
embrace it.
I went to a conference for real estate, and this guy on stage said there's two types of people: those that use AI or know people that use AI, or those that don't. And, like, they're going to move up in this world, and in corporate America, or you're going to get left in the dust.
It's a new tool.
I heard that, like, you're right. And it's not only it's new, but it's so easy. And it just is like, it does do a lot of things. It cuts down a lot of busy work that I can go take that need out of my life and go use things for more important things like doing this.
Yeah.
Like I can do 4 podcasts this week, which I'm doing, including this one, and still cut it all up and put them all up and put them out there and have them all this shit handled for next to nothing because of that. But it gives me time to go sit down and have a 2-hour conversation because I'm not having to do all this other bullshit.
There you go.
So
the shirt you're wearing, Feral for Feral, you're telling me this is a band?
Sierra Farrell. I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
I might she might have the Steve Buscemi effect on me.
Yeah.
If I was around her. She's just, I find her so beautiful. Like she seems so creative. Her voice is amazing. Like all these little music videos.
Is she in the rock and roll genre?
She's in the roots genre.
Okay.
So I would say the
Americana blues.
Bluegrass.
Yeah. Okay.
Bluegrassy. I think she used to like sing on street corners for, busket. She was a busker. She has that vibe, but she's kind of like futuristic space cadet busker hybrid. Like it's really cool. So
when we get out of here, I'm going to watch a video.
Yeah. Go watch a video. I sent you one on Instagram.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan. Sierra Farrell, if you're listening, I'd like to go on tour with you to create the resurgence of my music career, and I'll open up for you. And I'd love that. So thanks in advance for considering.
Do you have a picture of yourself with Jessica Biel by chance?
I wish. I didn't ask her for one. I just tried to play it too cool.
Well, I do have a picture of me and Steve Buscemi.
Really?
I wasn't cool. I wasn't playing it cool at all.
I just watched. He makes a cameo on the new show on Apple.
What is it?
The Network or something, or
I don't know.
It's a kind of a satire on Hollywood, starring Seth Rogen.
I haven't heard about it.
Oh, it's really good. It's on Apple TV. I just watched the first episode, but Steve Buscemi's in it.
I love him. I mean, he's in the greatest cinematic feature of all time, Big Lebowski.
That is.
He's
so good.
But he's in so many good things. He's in so many.
Big Lebowski is so good.
It's the best movie of all time.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that.
Well, sometime you should come over and we can watch it upstairs in the movie room. It'd be great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I think we're at how long are we at? We're at a good time.
We're at the perfect podcast time.
Well, I thank you so much for coming over and spending some time with me. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me on your podcast. Y'all can check that out. He's on Spotify. Keep trucking on with Ward Richmond. And Ward Richmond on Spotify Music as well. And we'll put links to all your shit and tell everybody about you. And you'll tell everybody about us. And we'll have one big happy get along together. And no more nicotine, baby.
No more nicotine.
This episode has been brought to you by getting rid of nicotine.
Living clean with no nicotine.
Have you written a song about this with nicotine patch yet?
I've written a song called I don't know when, but I'm going to quit smoking again.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, when is now?
Yeah, I'm done. I don't want to go back.
How old are your kids before we get out of here?
7 and 10.
7 and 10. Man, you're
Levi and Betty.
You got 3 to 4 years away from total chaos.
We're just like in the paradise city right now.
Yeah, but
I played that song yesterday.
But 7 and 10, you still love your father. 13, 14, 15, you're like, fuck you, Dad.
I don't know, man. Everyone tells me that, but I'm gonna break the rules. I break the rules, dude.
Dude,
this will be no different. I have my PMA about my child rearing. I have real conversations with my kids. I tell them the truth. Like I treat them like they are my friends and my peers to a level that I hope that it pays off, where they trust me and
fingers crossed.
We can be real. But
you still got to be a
they
authority figure.
They know what nicotine withdrawal looks like.
You still got to be an authority figure.
For sure.
So you're getting are you getting tattooed? What is it? Wednesday?
Supposedly. I don't know what I'm going to get.
Well,
figure it out. There's not much. I just like getting arm tattoos, but we're out of arm space.
You got a couple of little knickknacks you could fill in over there.
Yeah. I had this idea. I found a cool picture on the internet, and it's Jesus, but he's sitting like the Buddha, and he's doing like some Buddha pose. And I was thinking that would be cool.
Buddha Jesus.
Yeah.
Is it Buddha Jesus or Jesus Buddha?
It's Jesus it's kind of like Jesus positioned as the Buddha.
But that's what I'm saying. Is it Jesus Buddha or Buddha Jesus?
It looks like, so I think it would be
Buddha Jesus.
Buddha Jesus. Yeah.
I like that.
Buddha Jesus. And I want to do it. And then like get a little banner underneath it that says be cool.
Be cool.
That's one of the songs on my new album. It's called Be Cool. And
hey, that's good advice.
Yeah, it says be cool to your brothers and your sisters and don't be a fool. That's the big Ward version of the motherfucking golden rule.
There you go.
There you go.
I love you, Ward. Thank you so much.
Love you, dude.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to click all the links, click all the buttons, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that shit. We'll fucking send you some free shit later, dudes. Hey, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Come on, guys. Click all those links. Push all those buttons because it really helps us out and gets us out there to more and more peeps. What in the Duck podcast is produced by Audra Cabral and John.com Niederkorn. Our sound, video engineer, and editor is Courtney, Junior Larkins. Initial audio video setup and intro music by Blake Balake Pinchon. And a big thanks to everyone that submitted questions. Y'all keep them coming. Email me any questions you would like me to answer to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on What in the Duck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Anchor Screen Printing. Anchor Screen Printing has been printing t-shirts and merch products since 1999. Anchor is the place for quality, small run items. At Anchor, every print is hand done by people who care about art. You can email anchorcustoms@gmail.com to talk about getting something printed for your company, brand, or shop. Anchor Screen Printing also has its own online merch store that sells Elm Street Tattoo, Cheap Thrills, Heart and Hand, Party First Safety Maybe merch, and much more. So go to anchorscreenprinting.com today and buy some cool shit. Or you can click the link provided in this podcast to shop now.